Are you tired of trying to light your oven standing on your head with a lighter? Stay with me while I put in an electronic lighter. It's as easy as that. Today's project is putting an electronic sparker that I picked up off of eBay onto the stove in the oven. As you know, most of these ovens do not have a sparking element in the bottom of them, and standing on your head is no fun. So let's get started and show you the sparking unit real quick. Sorry about that, the cat is playing with parts. Just put a battery on the inside of this, and when that's installed, then the button is part of the housing, and that will send the shock. It's got 4 outputs, so 1 for each of the stove elements and 1 for the oven. Go ahead and get started taking the stove apart. To take the top off of the stove, you push the top back and lift the front, and that will unlock it, and that will come off. A few screws in here, take out. There was actually 4. I've had this apart already. Just left them out for this. This slides out a little ways, and that gives us access to the back where I can get the cable for the new sparking unit to go in the oven. Here's a shot in the oven, and you can see where we're going to be putting this. Get you set up here. This is going to go back into here and throw a spark where the gas comes out to light it. So I've got to take the shelf out above it. I'll get that out of the way and make that more accessible. Get this shelf out. Okay, it looks like I just have to lift the back of the shelf up a little bit, and that'll pull out. And I can take the shelf out and leave the burner right in. So there's the burner along with the thermocouple where we're going to be hooking up the sparker to. Here's the back of the oven, and right where the thermocouple goes is where I can run my electric line in for my new sparker. I'll get that fed in there and hooked up. And the hard part will be done with getting the wire down there, so that went pretty easy. Looking around in the back of the
stove. I don't see anything, no gaps to the outside world that need to be plugged up. And I also don't see any evidence of mice. Very nice.
From this angle, you can see completely out the back, and I'll try to point that. There's a hole right out the back where the propane line comes in and the thermocouple. So that's where I'm going to be feeding. Sorry about that. That's where I'm going to be feeding the line. This is where I've gotten to so far. I just took the screw that was in there that was holding the thermocouple to the burner element, took that loose and put the sparker in between it. Now I have to do a lot of bending to get the spark to go where I want it to go, but I'll show you a picture of that when I'm all done. Here's the ignition system that I've got started here. I've got the electrode bent over going to the thermocouple. I doubt that that's going to be real hard on the thermocouple. If it was being used super heavily, it might cause a problem with the thermocouple, but I think it'll be fine in this case. Hopefully the hard part is done, and we will just do the replacement of the spark unit with the new electronic one. Pull the wires. Here's where I'm going to have to get rough. I'll have to get my unibit drill for my cordless and drill this hole out. Other than that, I have done no drilling or cutting at all. Sorry, I had a little audio problem here, but all I am doing is hooking up the wires and putting the striker in its hole. During this time, I would like to say thanks to everyone for watching, and if you enjoy seeing projects like this, please click like and subscribe. And to be notified when I post more, click on the bell. Thanks again for watching and getting your RV fix. Alright, we're going to do one last test. Make sure that the sparker inside the oven works before I put the panel back in. Look at that nice bright spark. Awesome. I go ahead and put the panel back in the oven and start buttoning things back up. I have the bottom of the oven put back in. Put a couple screws on there and that'll be back together. That really comes apart quite easily. I wish the light were better that I could have showed you, but one back in. There we go. There's that. Slide that back in. Those lock in. The all-important pizza stone goes back in. Put the screws back in. Lay the back in first. Push it back. Let the top drop down and snap back. It's fastened in. Put the grills back on. There we go, finished.